Hey there, y'all. The postman brought me a special delivery today. This great haul of music and merch from the incredible band, the 77's. We're going to dig into this pile, take a look at my latest vinyl and CD finds. Coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Risto here. Hope you're doing awesome today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Thank you so much for choosing to make this video a part of your day today. I really appreciate that. By the way, if you're not subscribed here to the channel, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. I can tell from the analytics here on my channel that many of you keep coming back and watching my videos, but you aren't subscribed. Take a moment to fix that. I'd love to have you around more often, and would also help my channel out as well. Also, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you like so that I can kind of concentrate on that type of content more as I release future videos. So today we're going to talk 77's, the 77's, a great Christian rock, just a great rock band in general, that has been around since kind of the late 70s, but officially from the 80s on, with a variety of different lineups, always with the foundational member of Michael Rowe in the mix. This here is the current lineup of the band. But they are a great, great Christian rock band. In fact, I really like what my buddy John De Laurentiis over at Follow the Light Music Review channel said in one of his recent videos, where he was talking about the 77's, and he compared them to kind of a Christian version of the Rolling Stones. And I think that's a very apt analogy. I love it because this band, like the Rolling Stones, has put out great music for decades, and pretty consistent music over the decades. Consistently good, consistently great music. Very creative, very much music that can stand head to head, shoulder to shoulder with mainstream music. It's just very good. But there's Christian lyrics in a lot of it, and it's challenging for those of us in the faith. It gives us things to challenge our faith, things to think about. It also has just fun music. There's instrumental songs, all sorts of stuff. They're just a really great band, but with that Christian faith focus as part of their lyrics, and as part of their the members too. Their lifestyle, their lives reflect their the emphasis on the Christian faith. That is a part of who they are. They are Christians. So anyway, great, great band, and I love John's analogy. In fact, that's another channel you should subscribe to. If you're not subscribed to John De Laurentiis' Follow the Light Music Review, you should do so for that as well, too. I'll put a link in the description of this video. But anyway, we're going to talk 77's today because I actually was kind of late to the party with this band. I mean, I was early, but then I was also late. What do I mean by that? Well, I distinctly remember listening to the first two 77's albums, which I think was Ping Pong Over the Abyss and All Fall Down, back in the 80s when I first got into Christian music. Those albums had a lot of songs that were played on Christian rock radio often. And so I heard a lot of the music, especially from those first two albums, but then I kind of drifted away into other bands and never really kept up with them as much as I knew I always should. But I do remember those albums very distinctly. I probably followed Mike Rowe a lot more often with his involvement with the Lost Dogs, another great kind of supergroup band. If you're not familiar with that, check them out. They just released a great new album tail end of last year called The Trick of the Light. The Lost Dogs includes the talents of Terry Scott Taylor, who's from Daniel Amos, Daryl Doherty from The Choir, Steve Hindalong, also from The Choir, Mike Rowe from the 77's, and originally also had Gene Eugene involved from Adam Again, but he passed away some time ago. So a really neat super group that does a bunch of, kind of Americana folk rock type of music that's really good. So I probably knew him more from that because I kept up with Lost Dogs a lot. And then also some of his solo work like Safe as Milk, which is one of my favorite solo albums by him. Very diverse, very unique, very interesting music. So I kept up with them more with some of those side band efforts than I did much with the 77's, to my great loss, because it's taken me years to kind of step back into them, get some of their other albums I would kind of buy one here or there, get them digitally, listen to them. So I did keep up with them a little bit. I did love their music and always knew I should be listening to them more. Well, I finally got around to that point recently, and I mentioned this in another video, but I picked up an eBay purchase of a stack of 5 CDs. They're in this pile that I'll show you here, but a stack of 5 CDs that somebody was getting rid of for like $35 for 5 77's CDs, original CDs, not remastered ones or anything like that. And I thought, well, that'd be a great way for me to begin to get a section of their discography at a relatively inexpensive price. So I picked them up. Well, then that kind of got the ball rolling, and I was like, okay, once I started listening to those CDs, I was like, I need to check out 77's bandcamp site and see what they have available yet for purchase on their site. Went over there and saw a number of things were sold out. Some vinyls that had been out for a while, remastered CDs and stuff that were disappearing. And I was like, oh, if I'm going to start to collect their discography, I'd better, their back catalog, I better start now. Went over to Discogs and YouTube, and I saw a number of these albums that were sold out were either couldn't find them in either of those locations either, or they were going for a pretty steep price. So just further kind of motivated me to go, I'm going to place kind of a decent size order with the 77's with their on their Bandcamp merch store, so I can get the ball rolling here. So I did, and that's what I'm showing you here today. Long story, I know, to get this point, but I wanted to kind of give you a little background of my association with the band. Quickly here, over on Discogs, let me give you the little history of the band very briefly. For those of you that aren't familiar, they're an American rock band, of course, from Sacramento, California. Originally called themselves a scratch band in the 70's, and then right before their debut album, Ping Pong Over the Abyss, came out, they changed their names to the 77's. Not long after that album came out, their original drummer, Mark Proctor, left the band, and he was replaced by Aaron Smith, which then created what was kind of the classic lineup of the 77's that probably many of you who are big fans of the band are probably most familiar with if your history with the band goes back to where mine does. So that was kind of the classic lineup that went for many years. Then Mike Rowe created kind of a solo project called 7 and 7 IS, the I often being apostrophe, so 7 and 7's. And that was kind of its own thing, but it was really kind of 77's too. And the band reformed then in the early 90's with just Rowe and Smith, but they added Mark Harmon and David Leonhardt to kind of fill out the rest of the band. Both of those guys were from a band called The Strawman, and they brought some of their music with them to use on the next 77's album, which is kind of a famous or infamous one called Pray Naked. So that was how that began. Then after 94, after the release of Drowning with Land in Sight album, both Leonhardt and Smith left, and then former Vector drummer Bruce Spencer, this guy right here, joined, and now you've got Harmon here on bass, Rowe, and Spencer that remain as the existing trio of the 77's. So they've got kind of this storied history, variety of variations, as so many bands do over the years, over the decades. When bands hang around a while, there are inevitably going to be lineup changes. But again, to the credit of Rowe and the talents of all the band members over the years, they've remained really consistent and produced some really great albums. So that's the long and short of that history. Again, thanks to Discogs for providing me some details on all that. So let me go ahead and show you the stuff that I picked up from the 77's Bandcamp site, and then also the eBay stuff that I'd shown you in a previous video. I'll include those in here as well. So let's take a look at what I got. So first up, they had kind of a package deal that included their first 3 albums on CD. I think it was described as kind of a set or a box set, but there was no box containing them. They made note of that. There's no box containing them. It was just that you got the first 3 albums for a particular price. I think if you bought them individually, it would have actually added up to a little bit more. So the advantage of ordering the box set is that you get all 3 of them at a good good price, and you order them all together. So that includes their first album, Ping Pong Over the Abyss. And this is a nice little kind of wallet fold-out style digipack CD, which I believe includes, yes, some demos and some extra tracks on it too. I do have this album on a vinyl that I found at, I think, a half-price bookstore several years ago. So I do have the vinyl of this, which I was so glad to find. And I do love this album. Again, this is the one that I really remember listening to so much back when I first got into Christian rock. So for me, some people don't like this one as well, but I honestly do. I know it's early work of theirs, but I love it. You know, it's got some of their songs, obviously, as I mentioned, from Discogs there. They mentioned, you know, from the Scratch Band era that then got used in their first 77's album. So, you know, there's some interesting elements to it, but I do like this album quite a bit. Again, I've got a personal connection with it that I listened to it way back in the day. Also, as part of that box set was their second album here, All Fall Down. Again, this is kind of an expanded edition, but it's in a similar style kind of wallet or digipack kind of type of set with some great photos in it. And very, very basic little fold out, you know, no booklet or anything like that, but just very nice little edition. So this one, again, also holds a special place in my heart because this one and, you know, Ping Pong Over the Abyss were the ones that I listened to the most back in the day when they were getting started. So that, for me, is the 77's from my past memory. Then their third album here, 77's, is also available in a much more expanded edition, but this was part of the box set, also available individually. But you've got a couple CDs for this one because of all the extra stuff. And again, a similar kind of fold out with a number of different alternate takes and demos and some mixes and things like that make for a really nice one. Many people consider this really their first great album. And it is good. Some of these I've only heard bits and pieces of over the years. This one I have heard more of because some of that was still around when I was starting to move on to other bands when I first got into Christian music. But good stuff. Nice to have these CDs, again, in these more expanded editions as well. All right, next up, this is one that I got from that eBay purchase that I made a while back. So some of you may have seen me present this one already, but it's 77's Sticks and Stones album from, what year was this? Was it 90? 1990? I think it was. But this is the original CD, Broken Records CD. So you can see somebody's initials on there. I got this off of eBay. But really great album. Other people consider this really their first great album. And it is a good one. I listened to this on a recent road trip after I got this CD off of eBay. I absolutely fell in love with it. I realized, again, I had heard a lot of this over the years. Didn't put it all together, sometimes as some of it being 77's and just all from this one album. It's really a great album. One of my favorites for sure, and I'm listening to that one kind of on nonstop yet, on constant repeats. Great album. Then off of the 77's bandcamp website, since I had that one, I was like, I got to pick up this Seeds and Stems. This is just a very thin little, it's in a cardboard sleeve basically, CD that has a bunch of kind of, I guess they're kind of outtakes, different mixes, live tracks, demos, and stuff like that. 77's have a lot of CDs they put out that kind of have stuff like that you can still get off of their Bandcamp website. So they're always putting out extra stuff, leftovers, scraps, whatever from other albums or from across the years, which are always fascinating to listen to. There's some good stuff on here. I think it's about 10 tracks, 1, 2, 3, including Ba 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 Live, Revealed in a Kiss, a demo, Prodigal Son live, Love Without Dreams, kind of a basic track. I don't know what they mean by that. And then God Sends Quails, an early production version. So lots of stuff that's just kind of interesting. I have not listened to this one yet, but look forward to doing so. Another one that I showed you in the other video is the 88 album from, originally it was supposed to be from 88, but I think it came out in 91. But this is the original album off of Brainstorm record label from back in the day, so it's original CD that I got from that eBay purchase I made. Now, 77's Bandcamp site does have a 2-disc version of this, along with a third disc that's a DVD. That's still available on their Bandcamp website. I have not picked that up yet, but in my next purchase, I probably will do so, because I don't know how many copies of that are left or will be available. But this is another good album from them. I have started listening to that one, and I love it. Back to my purchase from the 77's Bandcamp website, and I had to get Pray Naked, which you see does not say that on the front cover. It just says the 77's. They have a lot of albums that are just called the 77's, or at least several. But it's actually known as Pray Naked, and you can actually see that on the spine here of the album. So very, like I said, famous or infamous album because of that title, which back in the day, Christian record stores removed that title, covered up the cover art and things like that because they felt it would just be too controversial. Kind of ironic in some ways. But anyway, this is a digipack fold out with 2 discs, and it does have a little booklet in there too, which I won't pull out right now. But this is a very, very good album. They did have this on vinyl some time ago. You can still see it on their Bandcamp website. It's sold out, of course, but they had a number of different variations of that, a double vinyl gatefold edition that I missed out on. I remember visiting their site sometime back and seeing that there were still some available, and I just didn't jump on it, and I missed out on that. So now very hard to find. That was actually first released quite some time ago, so I hope they'll come back around and re-release some of these on vinyl again, including my favorite Sticks and Stones. I would love to have an opportunity to get a vinyl edition of that. Most of them you can find on Discogs are selling for quite a bit. And some of these you can't find on Discogs or eBay. So if you have vinyl copies of any 77 stuff, hang on to it. Also, part of the order I picked up from Bandcamp is this album here, 77's 2020. Again, I think these was supposed to be something released in that year. I think that's why they called some of these that. And but it was released in 2022. But again, this is kind of just a simple little wallet or digipack release. Very simple, very nice. There's also one prior to this called 99, which I think was supposed to be released in 1999 or something like that. But, and I ordered that one. I paid for that, and I was supposed to get it. It didn't show up in my shipment, so I've emailed Low Fidelity Records and say, hey, did you guys miss that one? Because I do want that one as well. And it's probably a simple release, kind of like this one, too, just a simple CD release. But that one, I noticed looking on Discogs and eBay, I can't find that CD anywhere. Nobody seems to be selling copies of that. So I want to make sure I get my copy because that one seems to be another one that's hard to find. I think it's only an 8-track album, if I remember correctly. So not even technically a full track, but any 77's music, even an EP or limited album is so good. They've just got such great music. And some of these are live. Like I think 2020 is from a live performance. I think most of these that are done this way are from live performances of the band. Wow, talk about great customer service. While I'm recording this video, I've already gotten an email from Low Fidelity Records about my order. As I mentioned, I just received this order of 77's music from Low Fidelity today, and discovered that 99 CD was missing, so I emailed them right away, and I got a response already from Lloyd over at Low Fidelity saying, this is Lloyd from Low Fidelity Fulfillment. We'll send the missing CD out right away. Nice. Talk about great customer service. Very much appreciated. Thanks, Lloyd. These next 3 I'll show you quickly, but these are ones that I, again, picked up from eBay, and I've shown you in previous videos. But Drowning with Landon Sight CD, this is the original CD as it was originally released. A neat album. This one I've listened to over the years. And in fact, I listened to this one probably first many years ago after kind of coming back going, I need to pick up some 77 stuff. And I liked it, but it was not quite what I remembered from my early days with Ping Pong Over the Abyss and All Fall Down. So I kind of, again, I think that's kind of why and it's not a bad album. It's just a little different from what I was used to with 77's when I first knew them. So it took me a little while to get back into them because I stepped in at kind of later periods like that. Obviously a different lineup with them. Also Tom Tom Blues, which to me is a really good one. this one I liked from the start. Very cool album, like the artwork on it, really neat. But that's the original release from Brainstorm. And then here's the 77's and Echoes of Faith. Again, kind of similar artwork as Tom Tom Blues, but again, another neat album. This one is from the 90s to 96 from that one. This one I haven't listened to yet. That's from my eBay purchase, so I've been trying to listen through those as quickly as I can, and that one I just have not gotten to yet. All right, next we'll move on to a little bit of merch I picked up from the Bandcamp website. This one here is a DVD. Yes, a good old-fashioned DVD from the 77's. Disc 1, there's 2 discs in here. It actually feels a little heavy. I haven't unwrapped it or opened it yet, or watched it, obviously. But it has 7's, the official videos. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7 music videos. From the 77's, including A Different Kind of Light, Mercy Mercy, Ba Ba Ba, Nuts for You, Snake for Crying Out Loud, and The Boat Ashore, which is a Michael Rowe solo tune, I believe. But so the music videos are on disc 1, along with a bunch of rare bonus features, including some TV spots, Drum Naked from 92 with Aaron Smith, Drowning with Land in Sight video press kit, and then Safe as Milk Cornerstone Festival from 7/6/97. So anyway, some interesting stuff there. And then disc 2 has a bunch of live concert footage from, it looks like, about a dozen different performances in California, Illinois, Kentucky, a bunch more Californias, Kentucky, Illinois, Cornerstone Festival in Illinois, of course, from anywhere between 82 and 99. So I look forward to checking this out because I'm not sure what that quality of that footage is like. Of course, it's on DVD, so if they were bad, if they were kind of bootleg videos, and then you've got it on DVD, it may not be great quality. But I look forward to digging into that. That should be fun because I've never seen them, obviously, live, and to just be able to see some of these concert footage would be great. Obviously, probably a ton of them are on YouTube, but just be fun to sit and watch through some of these. Another merch item I picked up from their Bandcamp store is 77's 88, a little photo booklet, which this is kind of neat. It's mainly booklet photos and lyrics to go along with that album. I'm not sure why this was a separate purchase. Maybe it was part of a Kickstarter, or maybe it came with the expanded vinyl package. I really don't know the story behind this, but it's kind of neat, and I do like stuff like this. That's just kind of fun and different to have. So I look forward to digging through this too, but that's kind of a neat little added item. Okay, next I got 4 vinyl to show you real quick, and then we'll close this thing out. But one of them is for 88, and I have not opened this yet. Like I said, I just got this package in the mail today, so I haven't had a chance to open this up. But this is a gatefold vinyl. I believe it's double. Yep, double vinyl gatefold. 4 sides here, yeah. So it's got the 88 album. I don't think, so there's one bonus track on here. This is The Way Love Is. So anyway, this is, I believe, a colored vinyl. I don't remember what color I ordered, but it is probably might be a yellow and red variant or something like that. But look forward to spinning this one later. Also picked up 2020. That was a CD I showed you earlier. This, I believe, is a yellow-black splatter vinyl, which looked really nice. This is not a gatefold. It's just a single album release. 4 tracks and 3 tracks, including 3 live tracks on side 2. Side 2 is all live, and side 1 is just studio albums or studio tracks. This is from 2021. But again, nice to get some 77s on vinyl while they're still available. They had a number of color variants, I think, of both of these albums. Still available. Some sold out, I think, of the 88 one. But I think the 2020 one still had a few available. So again, if you're looking to pick these items up, I would highly recommend go and get them while you can, because their stuff just seems to sell out pretty consistently. Also, another vinyl I got, passive vinyl, is this one here, which is called More Miserable Than You'll Ever Be. This is that 7's, as it says here, version of the band, but kind of a neat one. And I'm not familiar with this one at all. This is from 2017. Looks like it's got a bunch of different mixes and live tracks and demo material on here too. Vocal rehearsal take 2. So it might just be a bunch of kind of extra stuff along with a few songs in here too. Not familiar with it. If any of you know more about this particular release, feel free to let me know. But it's another one I was like, I'm going to pick it up because these were selling out too. And there aren't many available of these from what I recall. Some of these on the Bandcamp site list how many copies are left. And I could see a number of these just ticking down. I think this is the one I bought, and then it was sold out the next day, so there were only a couple copies left when I purchased it. Finally, last but not least, is one that I picked up separately on another order. Forgot to mention that, but that's the 77's latest album called 7. This was part of a Kickstarter campaign, and then they made them available now on a separate site. I think that just is selling extra copies of these. It's not part of their Bandcamp site. But anyway, I had to pick this up. Thanks largely in part to, again, John De Laurentiis. Over on his channel, he had a video about this. Excellent video worth checking out. But I needed to pick this up since I was getting back into 77's, and I picked up the one that had the autographed insert with it as well too. All the lyrics on that side and then the autographed insert. I have not listened to this album yet. I've heard some bits and pieces from elsewhere, but it is a vinyl of 7 songs. Well, it's called 7, but I believe, if I remember what John mentioned, there was more tracks available on the CD version of it. So if you get the vinyl, you're kind of getting a reduced set of songs. But again, I love vinyl, so I had to pick this up. So look forward to hearing the latest vinyl and the latest album from them. That would be this lineup here that performs on this album. Anyway, that is a quick run through of all sorts of 77 stuff that I picked up. Again, I know I haven't shown off the vinyl or anything here, just kind of running you through what I got. There's so much stuff here, I don't want to drag this out too long, but why don't you all let me know in the comments down below what you think of the 77's. Are they a favorite band for you? I expect for many of you they are. What albums resonate for you? Like I said, the first 2 did for me just because I've got that connection of hearing them back in the day, but I love all of their work. So much great stuff. And again, I'm kind of getting to know some of their albums again, where I've heard maybe a song or 2 off of them, and I've not heard the complete album. So this for me is a treasure trove to come in today, and I look forward to listening to a bunch of it this weekend. So let me know your favorite 77's album down in the comments. Look forward to hearing what you guys like from the 77's and what albums resonate with you the most. That's all I got for today, y'all. Go out, listen to some great Christian rock, make it some 77's today. But remember, above all else, stay in God's Word. Blessings, y'all. Take care. Have a great one.